All right, everyone. You're probably wondering what in the world is going on. It's Lynn Dorman, Southern Fried Paranormal. Hey, I told you we were going to have some special shows on Halloween season. This is number 2. Actually, we did the standard Southern Fried Paranormal show last night, 4.5 hours of it instead of the normal 2 or 1.5. We did 4.5. So we did some spooky, scary stuff. You watch that video. We actually got answers to questions. I was asking a few questions, and 3 other people in 3 different locations were asking questions, and we got answers. So if you want to tune in, that is archived, of course, on Facebook, my Southern Fried Paranormal podcast page. It's also archived on YouTube, in the CARC PS Lynn Dorman channel, which just look up Lynn Dorman. You see how it's spelled. On YouTube, I do have it where you just type my name in there, do a search, and it takes you to my channel. You can also see this archived on the WLFE Radio DB, WLFE DB Facebook page, and on the WLFEDB.com website, where Ted, who owns WLFEDB, has put it on the most of your favorite podcast channels, so it's archived there too, so you can listen to it anytime. Very interesting show last night. We used Daniel Robert's Echovox, and we got answers to questions. So it was interesting. It was fun. One of the guests described it as spooky. Chris Garcia +2. So tune in, watch that show. It's already archived everywhere, so you can see it anytime you want to on your favorite podcast channels, or on WLFEDB.com, or on my YouTube channel. Doesn't matter to me. Go take a look. Very interesting show, but beware, this is not a 15-minute watch. It's 4.5 hours. So, get you up a chair, maybe get you something to eat, get you something cool to drink, your favorite beverage, whatever that is. Mine's iced tea. Big sporting guy. I don't know. Anyway, of course, I've been accused of being drunk, and I ain't had an alcoholic drink this year since New Year's. Wow. Sweet tea and water, some fruit juice every once in a while. Boy, I splurge sometimes. Sometimes I drink some expensive fruit juice, or boy, when I work in the yard, I use Gatorade. Wow. Anyway, we are going to talk about some stuff tonight. Get a little bit of water, keep my mouth wet, because we are about to go to the show. And what I'm going to do is show a quick video of what we're going to discuss tonight. You see something about what I'm discussing in the address below my avatar. hauntedhouses.com/Arkansas/Old Allen House. That's what we're going to discuss. Give you a 15-second video showing some pictures of the Allen House. One of these pictures has the Ghost Brothers when their first show was at the Allen House here in Arkansas. It's also located about 35 miles from where I'm sitting in Monticello, Arkansas, which is southeast, not the corner, but in southeast Arkansas. Of course, that's why my YouTube channel is CARC. Everything down here is CARC. CARC Western Wear, CARC College, CARC High School, probably a CARC Road somewhere. CARC stands for Southeast Arkansas. Simple enough. So everybody down here uses that name. Yeah, and we can say you live in NOLA, you go to New Orleans, which is 6 hours from here. So you go to CARC, and you're in Southeast Arkansas, which is here. I'm kind of in the middle of it. Anyway, here we go with this video. There is no sound, but there is photos. Like I said, he's got one with the Ghost Brothers outside the Allen house. He had one picture that was a model shoot with a model sitting out front in the grass in front of the Allen house. Another one is a investigation shot where you can actually see a figure standing in a window. So take a look at the pictures. They go by pretty quickly. This is only a minute 15. So, without further ado, here come the photos. Halloween. The old photo. There's the spirit in the window. All right, that is the video. That is the Allen house. You saw the circle around whatever it was. You can call it a person, but there was supposedly nobody in the house, and a photo was taken. I did not take that photo. That is a open for the public. It's not copyrighted anywhere. In fact, none of the photos are copyrighted. They're available on Google or wherever you want to. Those are general access, copyright-free photos. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Allen house from this website below, thehauntedhouses.com, Arkansas/Old Allen House. And here we go. All right. We're going to go to first to description. The 1907 Allen House is a 9,500 square foot, 2.5-story mansion with a 2,000 square foot attic, built as a Gothic Victorian house in 1906 on 1.45 acres. By the way, I hear it's for sale, so there's your description. 9,500 square foot, 2.5-story, 2,000 square foot attic on 1.45 acres. Plenty of bedroom space, plenty of closet space, and plenty of run around space for the kids or a dog or whatever. 1.45 acres. That's almost 1.5 acres. That's quite a bit of space. So if you want that, go for it. Put a lot of kids in that house. From Joe Allen's personal timberland, the hearts of 400-year-old oaks and pine trees provided the lumber used to build the Allen's forever dream home. The front of the home is quite impressive. Over the entrance is a massive portico held up by Grecian columns. At one end of the front of the home is a 3-story octagonal turret. On the other end of the home is another identical octagonal turret. The front entrance is framed by large stained glass windows. New Orleans glass blowers provide the home's stained glass. Artisans in St. Louis made all the curved window frames. The tin ceiling above the dining room table was hand beat into an ornate work of art, a sea of little cherub faces. As of December 2016, the old Allen house was for sale, still is, and still has many of the original treasures. According to Zillow.com, the home has 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, original chandeliers, stained glass windows, beveled glass doors, crystal doorknobs, original moldings, hardwood floors, and the original woodwork and staircases. There's a first floor kitchen for serving guests, visitors, tourists, and a second kitchen in the second story for the convenience of the owners. The second kitchen was added when the home offered rental apartments. There is a large parking area on the property for 5 vehicles. The home has central heating and air. Wraparound covered porches can be found around the perimeter of the home. History. Owner Mark Spencer found a pack of letters in the mansion's attic with the help of a spirit. They filled in the blanks of what led up to the death of Liddell Allen. Spencer has a published book, A Haunted Love Story, The Ghost of the Allen House. It's a good book. You can look that up on uh, probably Google or eBay or what's the other place? Amazon. The book is still available, I do believe. Very interesting book, which shares the paranormal history of the property with the public. To get the whole story, buy a copy of this excellent book, like I just said. Before the Allen House existed on this land, a girls' school, Rogers Female Academy, was built in 1857. When the Civil War began, the school building became a hospital for local wounded Confederate soldiers. After the Civil War, the school reopened as Wood Thompson School for Boys, although it later became co-ed. Jolie Allen first made his fortune as a successful planter, who then invested in the lumber industry, which proved to be quite the moneymaker. Allen also invested wisely in local businesses, buying a theater in town. He owned a livery stable, a private school, and the Allen Hotel. He also bought a hearse and rented it out for funerals. He loved to sell autos, along with horses, mules, buggies, and wagons. He became president of the Commercial Loan and Trust Company. In 1908, he entered the public service life when he was appointed treasurer of Drew County. In 1906-07, Jolie Allen built a gorgeous 2.5-story mansion with a huge attic for his wife, Cadye, Caddye, Caddye, and their growing family. This was to be their forever dream mansion. While their infant son died at 9 months, their 3 daughters, Lonnie, Liddell, and Louie, born in 1891, 1894, and 1897, grew up in luxury and enjoyed the perks of their dad's successful business endeavors. 19-year-old Liddell had a first date with Prentice Savage, a boy from a good family, in 1913, just before he left for Texas in 1914. She was interested in him, but he wasn't in her, due, it is said, to Mother Allen making it plain that the rules of virtue would be upheld when he made a move to kiss Liddell while sitting on the front porch. I guess that was naughty back in 1913. Liddell did marry a local handsome fellow named Boyd Bonner in 1914. He owned the town pool hall. Joe and Katie were not thrilled with this marriage. Liddell and Boyd Bonner moved to Texas, where Boyd worked on an oil rig. While an affable, hard-working man, Boyd had some marriage-wrecking habits. Their marriage did last for 13 years, despite his drinking and whatever faults Liddell brought to this marital union. They did remain friends. Though Joe Allen was a successful businessman and family man, he had hereditary heart issues, a condition that probably also caused the death of his infant son and the early death of his youngest daughter, Louie, in the 1940s. Liddell's son may have had the same heart condition. Joe died at the age of 54 from a heart attack when Liddell was 23 years old, a death she never quite recovered from. Katie Allen carried on with courage. Lonnie and her husband Carl moved back in with Katie when she charged them $10 rent. She rented out a room and had Carl run the theater for her. Through their own business sense, Katie Allen grew the family fortune. One good thing that came out of Liddell and Boyd's marriage was their son, Alan Bonner, born in 1915. During his teen years, Allen moved from Texas back to the family home in Monticello to be with Grandma Katie, his cousin, aunt, and uncle. Allen's special place at the Allen house was the attic space. He discovered he had the talent to write. When he went to college, Allen majored in journalism. After graduating, he went to New York and got a well-paid job as editor for the radio division of the Associated Press in the early 1940s. He wasn't drafted into World War II, probably because of a health issue. After her divorce, Adele eventually moved to Memphis for a while. She suffered through a series of relationships, none of which ended happily. She moved back to the family home. The last relationship breaking up she suffered was with her first love, Prentice Savage, whom she had been reacquainted with while in Memphis. Prentice was then already married to another woman, Helena, a person he said he detested. Prentice had risen a statue and had a high-level job with an oil company, so he and Helena had plenty of money. Prentice also had free time and could easily afford to play around with women on the side. Ooh, you know where this is leading. Get out your popcorn, everyone, because now's the time. Prentice was then already ready to. I've already read that. He set his sights on Adele and pushed her to see him, wanting a relationship with her on the side. This time, Mom wasn't there to stop him. Adele had just been deserted by the stateside POW guard she'd had a relationship with during the war, and she was lonely. Uh-oh. So start wolfing down that popcorn. You'll sit on the edge of your seats. First, Prentice Savage pledged an eternal love for Liddell. Then he deserted her when Alina gave him a hard time in divorce court, wanting most of the couple's assets. The ugly truth was that Prentice loved his money and property more than being with Liddell. After a tragic death, Liddell's mother sealed up her room, and it stayed that way like a time capsule for 40 years. After Katie died in 1954, the mansion was divided up into apartments for rental and managed by members of the Allen family for a while. The mansion was eventually sold to someone outside the Allen family. During the 60s, it became housing for college students attending the University of Arkansas until the mid-1980s, when it was placed once again on the real estate market, become a private residence once again. In the mid-1980s, it was sold to a couple who made it to a family home once more. They opened a gift shop on one of the first floor back rooms. They also opened up Liddell's sealed bedroom. Liddell's bedroom had been sealed up into this time, which is mid-1980s. Eventually, the mansion was sold to a Texan woman who adored the home and its treasures seen and unseen. She loved the house and kept its unseen residents under control with crucifixes, prayer, pictures of our Lord, and appeals to Jesus. She was no fun. The Allen house changed hands again in 2007 in what became a 2-year escrow. When Mark and Rebecca Spencer entered the picture, they had to buy another temporary house as the Texas lady had a hard time letting go of the property, which she'd become quite attached to. In 2009, the Spencer family moved in at last. The Spencer family had come to Monticello when Mark took a job as head professor at the University of Arkansas. The Allen house had long been the town haunted house. Though at first Mark didn't believe in spirits, his encounters with them and with hard paranormal evidence led him and his family to become aware that yes, indeed, the spirits were there. Mark Spencer has written 2 books about the spirits in Allen House. Look up those books. Look up Mark Spencer. That's the author. Look up his books. They are very good. Mark and Rebecca discovered that the Monticello townspeople of all ages really wanted to see the home. As restoration work is expensive, tell me about it. Anybody who owns a home is spending money on the home. They offered tours by appointment. When it became apparent to them that Liddell was a resident spirit person, they started to offer special events like have a dinner with a ghost every October. To raise money, they had ghost tours during Halloween. They still do, hiring students to give the tours. They found out how many spirits they had through paranormal investigations. They caught hard evidences which backed up their paranormal experiences. Apparently, Liddell has accompanied key family members along with an unknown boy. Nothing threatening, just friendly, slightly playful group of spirits who do enjoy interaction with the living. This I can vouch for. Having gone up there and had conversations with Liddell twice and also with Allen, they are a friendly bunch. The Liddell tends to tire out very quickly during the tours. She doesn't say a whole lot, but it kind of exhausts her. Occasionally, she'll move something on the tours, which are usually held the night before Halloween, and of course Halloween evening. By Halloween evening she's getting tired, and it gets very late on the first night. She gets tired, and then you cannot get her attention at all. Alan, however, he's a fun-loving spirit. He likes to entertain, and he will tend to play tricks on people. As he and I work together playing a rather trick I'll go into later. Ever since Allen House was sold in the 50s, the house had experienced the spirit people stayed in the house. Below are some of the reasons why spirits may be staying at the Allen House. Okay, women who have suffered from lost love sometimes feel so sad and hopeless they find ways to kill themselves, trying to escape the pain and distress that broken relationships cause. However, they find themselves stuck in this world by their pain and distress, usually near where they did the fatal deed. In 1949, Liddell killed herself at the age of 54 by drinking cyanide on Christmas Eve after eating a plate of Christmas goodies. She suffered and died the next day. The loss of her sister, Louis, and her son, and the loss of yet another relationship that she had invested her heart in was too much grief to bear. When people die unexpectedly, when they think they have their whole life ahead of them, they sometimes stick around their favorite place in this world and find ways to amuse themselves, including by having fun with the living for chuckles. Alan Bonner, Liddell's son, died in New York in his mid-20s from complications from pneumonia, and perhaps because of heart issues, all while starting a successful career in journalism. Sometimes entities or families will keep the spirit of a loved one who is stuck in this world company, as they also enjoy memories of their own life in their special home, especially if they died unexpectedly. The entity of Liddell's son, Alan, the entity of Liddell's father, Joe, the entity of Liddell's mom, Kate Kedai, kept her company, visiting her or staying. A young boy of 5 years, the following explanations may explain why he stays at the Allen house. Children who die in childhood often like to stay in their family home or in a place they want to enjoy while alive. The boy may have gone to school that once stood on the property. The spirit may not be connected to the headstone. When graves or gravestones are moved, it can cause restless, confused spirits. That's my belief. The boy probably left on the property because if you tear down a building and sell what can be sold out of it, you tear it down, and the splinters are just buried into a hole somewhere. The ghosts don't usually go to a hole because what they knew is just completely shattered and buried. They go to the spot where it stood. And sometimes from their point of view, they can actually see what was there before. Which means instead of walking through a door, they may be walking through a door that existed when they were alive and not there now. Especially if you got a new building sitting there, they're going to be walking through walls, closets, and furniture because the whole building wasn't there when they were alive, and they're seeing the building they lived in. The boy's gravestone was found hanging inside the wall of the old dilapidated carriage house. As the lad died in 1900, it is thought that the servants who had come in 1907 to work for the Allen family may have brought the headstone of a deceased family member with them and wound up hiding it in the wall. Children who die sometimes stay in this world, look for family members, and or search for a family to join. Spirits sometimes appear as children to relive their good times. It is possible that Lonnie, Liddell, and Louis appear as children to relive the fun that they have or had. This is an interesting theory, some of which I believe and some of which I have found proof of. That houses, even built afterward, that were housing family members, children will be drawn to because they're looking for somebody to hang around, something they can call family, whether it's people really related to them or not. So this is probably a boy that doesn't speak to the living because I've never seen any paranormal investigator who called a name. So I guess he will forever be called the boy in Monticello at the Allen house. Continuing, manifestations. This is where it gets interesting, and this is where it gets chills. So don't be in the room by yourself, because that knock on the door of the window may not be a limb from a tree tapping against a house in the wind. It may be somebody trying to get your attention to talk to you. Maybe appear in front of you. Maybe whisper in your ear. So beware noises in the night. Let's start with Liddell. She started making an appearance known soon after she died, which is why they sealed her room. Her mother may have seen her in her room, and that may be why she sealed it. I firmly believe that she sealed that room to hopefully keep her from around the house and appearing around and causing mischief in other parts of the house. Doesn't really work. A spirit can walk right through the door. Liddell liked to show herself looking out a current window for the neighbors and the general public to see, and still does. You saw that. I will show that video a little bit later and show that picture with the spirit circled. Is it? Is there? You just seeing things? Are you seeing light shadow playing tricks on the eyes, pareidolia? Or is that actually Liddell Allen looking out the window, maybe waiting for her old lover to arrive home? Or maybe to play a trick on a passerby. Author Carol Winston, who lived in one of the apartments in 1959, based her book, Scent of Lilac, on the incidents with the Liddell that she personally experienced or observed. A doctor who was living in one of the apartment units took a picture of the entry of the Liddell as she was reflected in a mirror. Wish I had a copy of that picture. A couple who had just been married found out about Liddell when the new husband took a picture of his bride in the dining room in 1968. Picture was developed. The image of a ghostly woman was also caught on the film. I'd love to have a copy of that photo too. Standing right beside the bride. Now, how'd you like that in your wedding picture? Uninvited guest. One couple trapped their apparition in a closet and struggled to close the door while the apparition giggled at their efforts. For years, renters and owners would hear someone walking around the attic space. Home alone. And you hear somebody walking around the attic. Do you hear that now? Are you in a house where there's an attic? Do you hear somebody walking around in the attic? Or maybe banging around your basement or the next room? Are you listening? For years, I had to walk around the attic space. For added chuckles, both Allen and Liddell were entertained greatly when the police were called in by the frightened living to try to find the source of the footsteps, noises, moans coming from the upper floor apartments. They never found anyone. That would amuse a ghost to no end when the police are called and there's nobody in the attic or wherever they were hearing the banging from. That would be very amusing. Remember that, friends, neighbors, enemies of mine when I pass away. That may be me knocking on your door or your floor or your ceiling. May look in the mirror and I may be looking back at you. Take a picture. I may be there standing there. Probably making a silly face. In the mid 1980s, the couple bought the home and reconverted it into a single family mansion. To bring in some money, they set up a gift shop in one of the back rooms. Liddell didn't approve and showed in no uncertain terms that she was upset. She showed herself to the couple's housekeeper by going down the stairs, giving the housekeeper the vapors. People have heard Liddell crying at night. When the Spencer family bought the mansion, it wasn't long before odd occurrences began to happen. All right. Let's go to the next most popular spirit, and somebody I like to consider a friend. Liddell's son, Alan. He is a fun-loving spirit who likes to call names in the ears of residents. He has appeared in the home, walking around the first floor, wearing a cowboy hat. He still likes the attic and bonds with the Liddell by walking around there, hoping to get the police to come again, or Mark Spencer. Great fun. He likes to move objects around. He likes to call the names of females who live in the mansion. Miss Spencer found this out. The trick I did teaming up with Alan several years ago was that picture you saw of the dining room table. I was at that dining room table, sitting there, and a tour walked through. Well, there was one young fellow, mid to late 20s, wearing a baseball cap. So I said, Alan, this gentleman had just walked in the door. I didn't have a clue who he was or what he was. I just knew he had a baseball cap on, and that's unique in this group anyway. I said, Alan, can you give me the name? Can you say the name of the gentleman wearing the baseball cap? Immediately, over the Echo Box, a name was called out. I did not know this gentleman's name. Did not ask him. His eyes got big. He froze in place for a second, ran out of the room and out of the house. Needless to say, Alan was in a good mood the rest of the night. So was I, actually. Very amusing. This is the dangers of going ghost hunting with yours truly. Sometimes I will team up with a ghost and play a little trick. He has come to visit the Indian father. Okay, he is going to visit Liddell and enjoy the mansion he lovingly built. Of course, the man who built the mansion was going to home. He has talked to investigators, identify himself as Alan. When Joe Allen leaves, he floats by his car trying to get Liddell to join him. So he likes his joy rides. 3 little girls. These 3 girl entities could be the 3 Allen sisters or residual energy. They like to play in the foyer at the bottom of the stairs. They've been clearly seen and heard by former owners. And sometimes you feel the presence of 3 little girls. Alan likes to get up there by his desk in the attic where they actually found Liddell's love letters that came, and including the rejection letter that she killed herself over that Christmas Eve. So Liddell's the one that guided Professor Spencer to those letters, where he took a couple floorboards up and found the letters. Right there is a desk. Alan's name is carved in it. And it's where he spent a lot of time writing and became, went to college for journalism. Liddell's mother, Katie, she talked to SBI through EVPs, sharing her feelings about Liddell's husband, Boyd, in no uncertain terms. One of the things she said was that Boyd was drunk every Christmas. Well, when you own a bar, you usually do some drinking. I've worked in the bars for several years, and yeah, I drank way too much back then. Okay, 5-year-old boy entity. Appeared often where Mr. Spencer could see him, described as being somber. Yeah, he's probably terrified. Okay, still haunted? Of course it is. Good gracious. Or I wouldn't be talking about it right now. After leading Mark to her hidden love letters, Liddell hopefully feels a little better now that she's let everyone know her shameful secret, having a love affair with a married man who turned out to be a jerk with weaknesses that her mother saw in him the first time around. Now, hopefully, Liddell can enjoy having a relationship with her son, Alan, since she didn't see much of him once he became a teenager, as she perhaps gathers her nerve to go to the other side. Perhaps she worries about what happens to people who kill themselves. That is the uncertainty. That's why everybody wants to know why there's not ghosts of people who died 1,000 years ago. Why does it seem to be in the 1800s there's so many ghosts of, and not many from the 1700s, and you can't find a ghost from the 1500s? Or very, very few stories where the possibility of spirits were around from the 1500s or earlier. They eventually move on, but anybody who got a little bit of religion, it's my theory, you get what you believe in. And if your belief is that people who commit suicide go to the wrong place, you might kind of stay in what I call it purgatory. It's kind of an in between. And that irks a lot of people who are Baptists and Presbyterians, because most Protestants do not believe in purgatory. The Catholics do. It's one of the difference between the Christian religions. But I don't know how else to describe it other than a purgatory, because they're afraid to move on. A lot of evil people are there, or a lot of people who want to see something, see their grandchildren graduate college or whatever, or just guard their siblings or make sure they're still happy. My father-in-law comes through here once in a while. He's always coming in a good mood because I'm usually in the kitchen stirring up a supper, and he's coming in uh, looking around and making sure that his daughter is still well fed. One warning here, however: be sure to see the YouTube investigations done by the Spencer family, as they may be taken down after the mansion is sold. A very strong possibility if they ever sell that thing. I've got somebody who I know would love to buy it, but they are working in Chicago. I'm talking about you, Amelia Cotter. If two of them could, her and her husband could break away and get jobs at the university in Monticello, I imagine they would love to buy this home, and you would hear some more books written by Amelia Carter discussing Liddell, as I think the two of them would get along magnificently. Liddell loves seeing people happy in marriage. She's very nice to my wife and I. Want to make sure we keep track of each other. I've been afraid to go up there by myself without my wife, thinking Liddell would be stern or a little bit upset that my wife Gail wasn't with me. So, well, if it's been taking all nighter up there, I'm not sure what I'll do about that, except just maybe try to explain my best to Liddell. But Amelia Cotter, she has a very happy marriage, and I'd love to see the two of them in the Allen house. Besides having many reports of paranormal experiences, people have stayed in the home or rented the home. There's been a boatload of hard evidence caught on camera EVPs to both back up previously reported experience and bring to light other spirits not formerly known to be there. Liddell's parents were discovered by still having their good Southern manners. Of course, they talked to investigators who were guests in their home. The Spencers did their own investigations, and two of them can be found on YouTube. Ghost Brothers have done investigations at the Allen house, were not disappointed, and Dad had fun scaring them a little. Ghost hunters have also visited the spirits. Many reputable groups have also provided entertainment for the Allen house spirits, and in turn have caught a lot of evidence. So my advice to anybody, because they still will, it's not cheap, but you can still do an online investigation there. They said it's not cheap, but do not go in there and taunt or raise sand. I don't believe you exist and all that. They exist. The Spencer family will kick you out and not refund your money if you go in there and you're taunting or disrespecting the spirits. Go in there, look for a good time. Be funny, be joyful, have some fun, and you will get evidence in the Allen House. I'll almost guarantee you that. Almost guaranteed results if you follow those directions. Go in there, have a good time, because Allen and uh, Allen's grandfather, uh, also called Allen, they they like to entertain. They like to see you have a good time. They like to see you big smile on your face. And at the younger Allen is, of course, a little bit jokative. Liddell even likes to scare you a little bit. There have been uh, doppelgangers there, as some spirits, whoever it is, they didn't find out who it was, likes to be either in the shape of Professor Allen or his wife, Miss Spencer, and impersonate those and walk through to where the other spouse sees them, where they think their spouse is on the same floor they are, and then they start talking and realize that their spouse is either outside or on another floor and has no idea what's going on. Of course, here's the scary part: if you see your own doppelganger, you're going to die. This is just spirits just time. The Allen House is located in the historic residential section where Monticello well-to-do live. A nice walk to the historic downtown businesses. It's located just north of the intersection of North Main Street, West Oakland Street, and East Oakland Avenue. The correct address is 705 North Main Street, Monticello, Arkansas, 71655. Look them up on the internet. If you want to schedule yourself for an investigation at the Allen House, be sure and check it out. Okay, sources: A Haunted Love Story of the Ghost of the Allen House by Mark Spencer, Llewellyn Publications, 2012. I'm not going to read the www, so onlyinyourstate.com, MonticelloLive.com, YouTube.com, YouTube.com/Living in the Allen House Part 2, YouTube.com, SPI Investigation Evidence Videos, YouTube.com, Beyond the Grave, Lunch and Learn, Hauntings of the Allen House by Tara Spites, Facebook.com, and yes, you can find the Allen House on Facebook. So check out these sources. You can see other people talking about the house, some more photos of the Allen House, read the books. Our Haunted Paranormal Stories are written by Julie Carr. So check all of this out and read the books by Mark Spencer to get a lot more information on the Allen House, one of the most haunted private residences in the United States. And yes, I am blessed to live 35 miles from the house, which is an amazing thing. Call me lucky. I've investigated Chicago, run into a lot of mob figures, got into places where you can't get in anymore. Investigated them several times. And here I am by one of the most haunted private residences in America, the Allen House. So, all right, we're going to show the. I didn't say how long the shows are going to last. I did 4.5 hours last night, folks. I am a little bit tired. My voice is tired. I got out and did stuff yesterday, and then did a long show. I got out and did stuff today. So we're going to we're probably not going to make an hour. In fact, I'm probably keep this an hour or less so I can re-show it again. The two people I got watching: Cindy Simpson, amazing story. Thank you, Cindy Simpson. It is an amazing story. You can look at the address below. Is the story that I told. You can look there and read more about the story of the Allen House and the Allens and the Spencers. The Spencers are very nice people. If you want to go on tour on Halloween, they offer tours the night before Halloween and, of course, Halloween. If you go up there early for the first, which they don't wait till after, they wait till after dark. They're usually taking their kids trick or treating in a very nice section, grandkids, excuse me. Their kids are grown, but they usually got to take care of the grandkids trick or treating in some of the other nice houses in the area. Nice older section of Monticello, a good neighborhood. Park your car out front and get in line for a walkthrough tour. Now, my wife will not go into the attic. We went there one time and she looked around and could not wait to get out of there. And there are a lot of women who do not like going into the attic. Me, I take it in stride. You get a creepy feeling. I can live with creepy feelings. That's my job. That's the way I look at it. That's what I do. If you get a creepy feeling in there, tell me where you had the creepy feeling, and I'll set up my equipment and sit there for a night. But that's me. But thank you, Cindy, for saying that's an amazing story. It's not mine, but it is an amazing story. The Allen House is an incredible place. It's a beautiful location. If you can go through just a tour, or if you lucky enough to do an investigation there. Now, the first time I went there, I was talking to one of the guys, one of the college students, and he felt Liddell there, and I did too. And I asked Liddell, I said, I don't know where my wife is. I don't know what floor she's on. I better go find her because she may be ready to leave. And we felt the spirit leave, and the guy said she left. I said, yes, she left. So we both could feel her presence. We both knew she'd left. That at that time, the wife, who was in the foyer, going into the base of the stairs of all places where the kids play, she was standing there on a bench, waiting patiently. She is known as the patient wife, and she said she felt something brush up against her. And Liddell came back to me and the guy and said, "Yes, she is." Meaning she answered my question. Or, I bet she's ready to go. Is she ready to go? And she said, "Yes, she is." So I got communication the first time I went up there to the Allen House with Liddell. I said, "Well, I better go before I get in trouble." And I did. So that's just some of my interactions with the younger Allen and Liddell. It's quite amazing. It's an amazing place. I highly recommend if you can just go on a tour, or if you are a paranormal group and can afford the money they charge, they look them up on the website, the Allen House, and you can give them a call and arrange for a time, a date, and they'll tell you what rules you're expected to live by. Like I said, this is a privately owned residence, and they live there. So you got to behave yourself, and they will kick you out if you get crazy with Liddell and Allen. Please do not do that. Do not try to intimidate them. Do not threaten them. Uh, do not do like some of the TV shows do and try to infuriate the spirits. Because, like I said, the Spencers will ask you to leave. They will not tolerate that. I don't blame them. These spirits would rather you talk nice, walk around with a smile on your face, maybe cut up with them a little bit. If they startle you, laugh it off, have some fun. It is just a fun, happy experience investigating. Thank you, Cindy. Well, that's great communication. Thank you. Uh, but if you go there, behave yourself, and you will get communication with the other side. If you don't believe, you will be a believer at investigating the Allen House in Monticello, Arkansas. All right, I want to keep this under an hour, and I still got just a few minutes. I appreciate people who are watching the show. I want to thank y'all. I want to thank everybody who's watching on delay at Facebook later on and YouTube later on. Ted on WLFEDB.com, on their Facebook page, WLFEDB Radio, of course, their website, WLFEDB.com, and all the people who are will be watching this in the future at on the favorite podcast networks, which Ted puts a show on all of them. Hello, nice to meet you. I don't know if I'm still alive, depending on when you watch this, how far in the future, but hello, future. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you will give the Allen House some thought if you ever come through Arkansas and you want to do an investigation and you want an encounter with some friendly spirits and some really friendly human beings, dispensers. Try the Allen House. Good night, everybody.